In this video, we'll discuss how you can use JavaScript to add arbitrary headers and footers into a list control. So you can see here we have a simple list based on the customer data from the Northwind table, the Northwind database, and you can see that we've injected a custom header here every third row of data. So there's the first header, there's the second header, etc. And then we've also injected a custom footer after 3 rows of data. The header and footer can contain arbitrary HTML, and also the header and footer can be made hot, so they can have event handlers. So you can see if I click on that footer there, I get an event which says that was footer number 1, here is footer number 2, etc. So let's go now and take a look at how this list was set up in order to inject this arbitrary headers and footers. So we'll go back now to the list, and then we'll go into the list builder, and we'll go over to the list events. So here we go, and go over to list events, and we can see that the list event has an event called on before list draw. So this event gets past the data that the list is going to use to draw the list, and in this event handler you can create a new array and return that array. And then if you do return an array, it's the new array that you return that will get used in the list to render the list itself. So you can see here we create an empty array, and we set the value of this counter, this variable called group, to 1, and then we loop over all of the data in the list. So data is passed in, so you can see here if you read the notes over here that data is the array of data that the list has been populated with, and then we basically say is the mod of the current row number divided by 3 equal to 0. So this gives us, this is going to be true every third row. If it is true, then what we want to do is we want to push a new object onto the array that is the title. So basically the object uses a property name called star title, and then here's the actual text for the header. And then we want to basically also push in a footer, but we want to skip the first group. And in the footer you can see here we've basically added something with the prefix called static. So the property name of the object is star static, and then we have some arbitrary HTML over here. And this HTML you can see includes an A5-item, which makes it hot, so that this is the event handler. So you'll see we've defined an item called item1, and we've set the attribute to the group number -1 over there. And then here's just the regular HTML that we're using. So we're setting padding of 10 pixels, a border that is gray, a border radius of 10 pixels. We've then gone ahead and chosen an SVG icon over there. Here's the actual text that appears in the div, and then basically some more text, and then there we have the closing div. So we've added some arbitrary HTML over here using the static property name, and that is how we construct the footer after every 3 rows. Then in actual fact, to see the definition of the item, we'll go here, quick access and template items, and we'll see we've got an item called item1, and it has an on-click handler that says you clicked on footer number, and then there's the attribute that got passed to the A5-item. So if we go ahead now and we run our list again, we'll see that basically these are our headers that we injected every third row, and here's our footer, which is injected every third row, and the footer itself is hot. So what we've shown in this video is how, using JavaScript and in the on before draw event, we can add arbitrary headers and footers to the list without actually affecting the list data itself. So you can see that it's only the list data that is selectable, and not the headers or the footers. Thanks very much for watching.